start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson, GMS on the Move. This one's called "The Grip is Getting Tighter." And just a few thoughts as we see what's going on around the world today. As far as prophecy is concerned, which pretty much everything you see around the world is based around prophecy anyway. Scriptures say that that Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, because these prophecies have to come to pass before Yahushua can make his second debut, so to speak, and come and claim his throne. Because that's what he's coming to do. He's coming to take down all these major nations, beginning with Esau, and put them in subjection and subdue them under himself. But meanwhile, while we're waiting for our Lord to come back, we see around the world a grip that's really putting a stranglehold around the world. Through that potion, that they're pushing on everybody around the world, and they're backing everybody into a corner, to take it. Which that's just setting the stage for when they push, the MOTB on the people. And anywhere you go around the world, this is happening. And this is why, the scriptures say in Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them. And that all the world there means all the world when you go back into the Greek, which is the word oikomene, which is where you get the word ecumenical, like you had ecumenical councils among the Roman Catholic Church, because at that time the Roman Catholic Church in the known world, was like a worldwide religion at the time, until they came over to this side of the world, because the word ecumenical or oikomene means the whole inhabited earth. So at that time they called it that because in the so-called civilized world, they had conquered the civilized world, so they labeled it ecumenical or oikomene. But the term oikomene really simply means the whole inhabited earth. And what we're seeing is a tighter grip being put on the world by Esau, the python of the earth. And that's exactly what he's doing. He said, oh, you don't have to take this, you don't have to take that, you don't have to get that juice, but you won't be able to do this, you won't be able to do that. If you want to go worship, you can't worship. If you want to go to a concert, you can't go to a concert. If you want to go to a play, you won't be able to go see your favorite play. If you want to go to the movies, which nobody goes to movies anymore, because that's pretty much a thing of the past. It's pretty much like 8-track tape, it's a thing of the past. But any of these events, cookouts, and different, concerts and things of that nature, unless you got that juice, you ain't gonna be able to go. Pushing people into a corner more, which is gonna cause revolts, insurrections, or should I say seditions against the government, because you have certain people that are, quote unquote, as they say, awoke, and that see the tyranny that's happening, and once they get backed up into a corner enough, they're gonna come out swinging. Gerald Celente said it best: when people have nothing to lose, they lose it. And that's the truth, If you have nothing to lose, you'd be like, hey, the hell with it. Balls to the wall, do or die. You know, and that's what these devils are doing. That's why they're breaking down the chain, you know, the supply chain. You know, there's a whole bunch of problems going on in these different ports. They're purposely telling, you know, certain distribution individuals out there, companies, to you know, to leave the supplies there on their docks, not to send them out. Now, I've been looking for it. I haven't found anything on it, but I heard today this woman did a video a brother sent me, where she said that today, which is the 31st of August 2021, year of hastening the coming of our Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that truckers would begin to strike because of these measures that are being pushed out there, you know. So there's something going on, but I haven't really heard anything about it. So you know, I got my ear to the street, so to speak, you know, trying to see what I could find out about it, because she did this video yesterday, you know, I think about 9 hours ago. So I'm just trying to see what, you know, what's going on, because I know that in Australia the truckers were supposed to be striking themselves out there, you know, which that's all good and dandy, but if the truckers strike, then that could also be something that states too, because if the truckers strike, that means nothing will be moving. And if nothing moves, that means no one's getting any supplies. If no one's getting any supplies, that means eventually the supplies that are there are going to run out. And it's going to make those supplies scarce. So what that's going to do, that's going to even cause the prices to rise even more, not because of inflation or hyperinflation, but because of supply and demand. Like they did, for example, with the alcohol. You know, I'm talking about the isopropyl alcohol, you know, the rubbing alcohol, you know, that those things went from like 79 cents to $5, $10 in some places, you know, certain, you know, places, you know, double the price, other places you couldn't find it, you know, so it's going to cause problems, you know, especially when it comes to food shortages, because people could do with clothing shortages, people could do with you know, toiletry shortages, you know, even though that's uncomfortable, but they can deal with that. You know, some people could even go as far as having shortages of shelter. But one thing people cannot go with is shortage of food and shortage of water. And that shortage of food and shortage of water, which will bring what the scriptures call a famine, you know, and hunger and all of these things, is gonna cause people to get into that desperate mind state, you know, to find a way to survive. It's going to be survival of the fittest for these people, you know. And when they get into that mindset, you know, they're going to get to the point where they'll do anything and run over anybody or take anybody out that stands in the way of them getting fed and their families getting fed, you know. So that's going to bring about a real volatile situation, you know, on the planet, you know, and I said the planet because it's not just here in America. See, back then when we used to speak, we spoke about things that were happening around the world, but we mainly spoke about things in the. We're at the point now that the agenda of YouTube on my television, it went to, which is almost, it said 4 years ago, but it was almost 5 years ago. They started playing different videos of the economic crisis in Venezuela. You know, and I was watching it, people were catching hell, you know, just to survive, just to be able to eat. You know, you can see the leanness in people, you know, because of the desperation. You can see, like, you know, trying to get work was hard. You know, they had interviewed this one individual that was trying to fix his car, and he was trying to go about it, you know, trying to pretty much, you know, Inspector Gadget, you know, like try to put it together however he could, but he couldn't get it going, you know. So pretty much, you know, the people in Venezuela were catching hell. I don't know what the latest status is down there, but back then when that economic crisis hit, they were catching hell. They were in lines for hours and days just to get basic food. And sometimes when you get up, by the time it was your turn to get into the store, there's barely anything left for you to buy. And if there's things left for you to buy, the prices are so high that you can't. You might be in line for almost a day, and you might walk out of there with one item because that's all you can afford. You know, so these are the hardships that are coming on around the world. See, this is a worldwide thing. That whole thing where that container ship was blocking the Suez Canal. No, that was these things are all staged. You know, now the Lord causes certain things to happen, and certain things these international bankers are causing to happen. But guess what? That's the Lord working on both sides anyway, regardless. You know, so there's a lot of disruption going on in the normalcy of everyday life around the world, not just in America. So that's going to cause problems. You know, it's going to cause problems upon you Israelites, which is called Jacob's trouble. And it's going to cause problems among all these other nations. You know, these Edomites and these Moabites and Ammonites, all these different nations. And this is what's going to bring upon those class wars. This is what's going to bring upon, this is what's going to bring upon the citizens of these different countries to rise up against their government, the establishment, the politicians, the judges, the police, and all of that. Because, you know, when people don't have food, that's the final straw. You know, like I said, they could go without clothing. They can go, you know, without, you know, toiletries. Like I said, it'd be uncomfortable, but they can go without certain things. Some people could go without shelters. Some people could go without vehicles. Some people could go without transportation. But one thing they cannot go without is food and water. And that's why they're pushing that, you know, that juice on people, you know, and taking away, you know, these basic necessities that everyone has, which is going to cause this great sedition among people, as it says in our 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. It's going to cause the sedition of the citizens against the government and their agencies. But it's going to get so bad that that's not going to be enough. So what's going to happen is the people are going to turn on themselves. And once the people turn on themselves, that's pretty much going to bring what? Anarchy in the street. This is what the international banking families want. They want that anarchy because anarchy equals chaos. And chaos equals their way to step in and bring forth the solution. Because they want to establish a so-called New World Order out of chaos, Ordo ab chaos, which is one of their mottos. So everything that's happening is moving in the right direction of their enterprise, but it's not. So, like I said, I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for this situation that they said where the truckers were supposed to be striking today. You know, I haven't heard anything so far about it, but usually stuff like that doesn't get put out in the media, in the mass media. So maybe I'll see if I can find some YouTube videos on it or some type of alternative media news channel that's speaking about it. You know, if any brothers may know about it, you know, like we always do, keep each other in the loop, you know. And we live in a very interesting times, you know. So we just have to keep our eyes open and watching, you know, to see what's going on. I really didn't have any particular lesson prepared for today, so I pray the Lord, you know, send me something, you know, if it be His will, for me to go to a lesson. Right now, I'm on my way to take care of some business. So once I get done with it, hopefully, the wheel turning, you know, in the midst of all of that, and can get a nice, you know, little lesson to feed the sheep. You know. But yeah, you know, keep your eyes open, brothers out there, few sisters. This thing is moving forward. The grip is getting tighter. You know, this is why they passed on, from what I understand, you know, out there in Louisiana, there's no power. I'm not sure if it's the whole state or a good portion of the state. This is all done by design. So we're trying to figure out, you know, exactly what's going on. But we know that they're establishing they're establishing their infrastructure on the 5G. So, you know, we're keeping an eye out for that. From what I understand, you know, most brothers in Louisiana had, you know, evacuated those areas. There's a few brothers down there that don't have any lights, but they're safe. You know, Barakateh How Bashem El Shai for that. So, you know, things are moving along. But one thing to remember is the grip is getting tighter, and this is happening worldwide. You know, brothers been sending me different videos, you know, out there in so-called Africa and different places where if you don't get that juice, you're not going to be able to do certain things. You know, so this is setting the stage for the RFID chip to be, you know, to enter into the picture, because it's already there, you know. But all of this, what this is doing is these mandates are helping to make it easier for when they start rolling out their RFID chip and making it mandatory, you know. So it remains to see, you know. I mean, we have the plans. We know what the plans are, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. How exactly it's going to play out, you know, we're still looking, you know, to see what else is happening around the world. But yeah, you know, Jacob's trouble's coming. You know, we're pretty much somewhat in the midst of it, you know, but it just hasn't really bitten down. You know, it's like having your jaws around something, but you haven't really bitten down on it yet. You know, but the bite is getting harder and harder. The grip is getting tighter and tighter. You know, and we're witnessing, you know, the final or the end, you know, of this man's society, you know, which is a good thing, you know. But it's gonna get uncomfortable. But hey, that's what it takes in order to get to the kingdom of heaven. Remember the old saying, no pain, no gain. You know, so after the pain comes the gain, you know. So with that, you know, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.